space is kind of a very small version of SPX. We get about 150 tables worth of exhibitors every year. It's always kind of interesting. It's kind of like this where you see all kinds of things that you'll never see anywhere else.
Okay, and is it the same crowd of people, or are you getting a different influx of people in every year?
Well, there's always some turnaround, and there's some new people. We've been there for 15 years. At one point, all the web comic guys kind of broke in, and that was kind of neat because there was a lot of new blood going on there. And it's a continuous turnover. There's some guys like me that have been doing this stuff forever, showing up still. But it's always kind of nice to see the diversity of the stuff that shows up.
Right. And how did Space get started? Was it in response to anything in particular, or were there just not indie comic conventions in the area?
This could take a long time. I was involved. I've done some stuff with the Mid-Ohio Con back in the late 80s, and I had a small press table there where we put both comics together, which is a small press anthology book, an annual book, and we put the first one together there. And at that very first year, we had about 13 small press exhibitors. That was way back in 1988. I just kept doing that at the Mid-Ohio Con for years. Then back in about 95, there was the Dave Sim, Service fame, started the Spirit of Independence shows. And the very first one was in Columbus, and I was part of that. And then that kind of faded from sight for a few years.
Okay.
And I decided to bring something back. So in 2000, we started Space, and we've been going ever since. We grow a little bit every year.
And was it difficult to get the community to join in, or you just kind of took that existing community and said,
we're going to what we were doing for the first few years. But
right.
Now it's everybody knows what we're doing, and we're all over the place advertising, and we're on websites and things, calendars.
Okay. And would you recommend people in other areas that might not have an indie comics convention to try to start their own, or you really think it's too much of an investment of time?
Kind of encouraging the PIX show in Pittsburgh, which died out a few years ago. There's some people that are trying to start that back up, and I offered any advice I could give them to get that going again, because I like to travel around and just do different small press shows.
Sure. All right, and obviously you're a creator as well. Can you tell me about your work a little bit?
And,
how you got started?
I kind of started Space to sell some of my stuff, and I wanted to spend more time doing the conventions than I do actually doing the work. That's a collection of like science fiction stories, mostly involving robots, which is why there's a robot on the cover. I just kind of put that together so I could do a nice linoleum cut cover for it. I do my Bunny Blues series, which finally ended with the 6th issue here. So it's kind of a I don't know how to tell people about that. It's kind of a romantic comedy. It originally started with my rabbit character who's a detective, and we did 2 mysteries, and I got tired of doing mysteries, so then I kind of moved on to just using the same characters in some different situations. It's like a road trip.
Okay, it sounds like you've got a diverse set of things here. What would you say some of your inspirations are?
For the small press stuff, Matt Frizzell is always a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. Just Cynical Man, so he kind of inspired me to kind of get into that and start doing the small press stuff. I was always a big Jack Corby fan from way back.
Yeah.
Of course, Charles Schultz. My inspirations.
Okay, and you mentioned to me that you had a background in engineering, and you're kind of doing this as a hobby, like many independent comic creators. What advice would you have to give to someone who maybe has a full-time career but is interested in pursuing comics, or maybe is actively making the decision between if they want to go to school for comics or if they want to go to school for something a little more practical?
I went to school for engineering. I made that decision that I wasn't going to go into art or pursue the comic career. I got a degree in engineering, got a good job. I've been working there for 35 years. And in the meantime, in between, I work on the comics for fun and do different shows. So I get to do kind of both things. And
comic artists, you would say, to be
If you look
accepted?
around here, you'll find out that probably most of the people here have a job
Right.
that they make money with, and they're doing their comics waiting for their break. So it's
Sure.
interesting. I kind of came at it the other way. I was just doing this for fun. If something happened, it happened. But other than that, I'm just having a good time.
Do you have a regular schedule for releasing issues, or it really just depends on how much free time you have?
I run the space convention in Columbus.
Right.
A lot of the things I'm working on are going to try to debut there.
Nice.
One of the things is O Comics, which is an anthology book. I do a strip in it, and I have a bunch of friends that also contribute work to it. So we have that ready for space every year. So that kind of gets me on a schedule. And any of my projects, again, I try to hit that deadline. So I usually have up on my website a list of all the projects that are and the due dates I set for myself to get them done.
All right. It sounds like you're keeping organized. Awesome.
Well, it doesn't always work. It gets revised constantly. This gets me in the right direction.
Okay. And would you have any advice to anyone who's planning on attending SPX for the first time, maybe?
That's a tough one. Get in early, get a good parking spot. Schmooze, do a lot of schmoozing, talk to a lot of people, find out what they're up to.
All right. Finally, is there anything else you would like to promo? Maybe something that's debuting at SPX, or something that you're going to have at Space?
Well, like I said, I did finish up my Bunny Blues Leaves series, so I have the whole set here, all 6 books.
And are they available online? Could we?
They're all, well, except for the new one, they're all available online. I'll get that up when I get back. We've got a couple things going on in Columbus in the next few weeks. There's an outdoor festival, Independence Day, where we actually have a area called Comic Land. That was Ken's brainchild over here.
Okay.
So we'll be selling books outside next week, and 3 weeks after that is the Columbus College of Art and Design Mix, which is a symposium of comics where there will be like a pop-up shop where a lot of the comics that are done in Columbus will be on sale.
Yeah, it's great that you're staying proactive within your community, really building it up.
This is probably the busiest month I've had in a long time. So
Yeah. Conventions tend to all happen at the same time, so.
it just worked out